I guess from Georgia, what have you seen from Stetson Bennett this year? It seems like he's really made a jump, and I mean, obviously had a great season last year too. So what have you seen from him?
What do you mean, really made a jump? They
I mean, it seems like he's got
won the national
better.
title last year, didn't they? Obviously, a pretty good quarterback if you win the national title.
Right.
Lead your team. He's playing on a very high level. I mean, they're averaging over 300 yards a game passing. Obviously, have a great stable of running backs that they're running it all over people. They got really good receivers and tight ends. I mean, tight ends are the combination of size and athleticism is it's something to really see. And then he's playing at a tremendous high level, operating the offense. I mean, making plays left and right. I think he takes a scramble versus Auburn. It's either two-man, goes like 70 yards, splits the defense. So he probably a lot faster than probably people give him credit for. There's a reason they're number one team in the country.
How do you feel like Asai Spurge played last week for you guys against Auburn?
Yeah, he stepped up and did a really nice job. I think it was one of our defensive players of the week.
What did you think of Jaden Carmody?
Did some good things. Did some real good things. Glad to have him back. He brought a level of physicality that I like seeing on the defensive front, and so it was good to see. Had some mistakes in there, but probably fault of the guy throwing out some defenses that he hadn't practiced. So we'll blame that guy.
When you think about Crumby coming back too, like the kind of making everybody around him better, I mean, did you see some of that on film that maybe he helped some other guys elevate their level of play?
Well, usually a D lineman makes the guys around him better when they have to occupy him, send more linemen to block him, double teams up there. But I'll put it this way: first play of the game, they ran a toss play into the boundary, and he made the tackle. Right, so he got off to a good start, and he had a good night.
What do you think of Brock Bowers?
I got a feeling he's going to look like Ivan Drago from Rocky IV when he steps out there on the field. He's a great player, and he's going to be a first rounder. He's a great player.
We just talked a bit after the Alabama game about some guys being maybe intimidated by the Alabama logo and kind of what that program stands for. I guess how do you try to eliminate that when you're playing another great program in Georgia?
I think our defensive guys played pretty dang physical against Alabama. I don't think that was an issue.
Speaking of your defensive guys, when you played Georgia last time, I believe you held them to 8 yards rushing. Obviously, they'll probably want to come out and establish the running game again. But, I don't want to give away the trade secrets here, but how were you able to kind of motivate those guys to perform at such a high level, considering the numbers you had at 2020?
I think that was two completely different teams playing a completely different, situation and game. That was COVID year. I mean, a whole lot of guys on that team who aren't playing for us now. I mean, they also threw for over 400 yards that game. So, you hold a team to that few rushing yards, but you give up 400 and whatever through the air. And I'm pretty sure I had a pretty stupid call that was a zero coverage for a touchdown over the top. We found a way to. You stop throwing all you want, but obviously if they throw for that many yards, it's nothing special. But yeah, no, I imagine there's a chance they could come out in the first carry, top that rushing total. So they're executing at an extremely high level right now. It's going to be quite the challenge.
There's so many teams getting away from using a tight end. When you do face a good team that has a tight end, what kind of extra challenges that add in scheming?
I think so many teams are getting away from it because it seems like there's like a handful of teams who are stockpiling on all the tight ends in the country. There's no more tight ends to go around. You look at their roster, between some of the teams you play in this league over the last 3-4 weeks. It's like you're gonna get 14 personnel every week. That's 4 tight ends in the game. So, when you combine their size, strength, and athleticism, their speed, the issues they can create in the run game, create all these extra gaps. Obviously, they're good run blockers at the point of attack, and then they can the very next play stay in the same personnel, jump out and empty, and run 4 verticals. Yeah, that's a big stressor on a defense because it's very hard to match personnel. It's very hard to get bigger people in the game. And then, all those bigger people also have to then go cover them man-to-man and run down the field. I mean, there's a reason they do what they do, and they do it so well. Great personnel.
You were talking about that Georgia game from a couple of years ago earlier. I mean,
I wasn't. You guys were talking about it.
Well, we asked you.
I don't think it has anything to do with this, but,
But I'm curious what you guys learned from, maybe some of the younger players, the guys that maybe had to step into bigger roles in that game and kind of how they bought into the culture of you and Coach Leach and what you guys tried to implement, in your first year here playing, under tough conditions.
I think you guys are trying to write a story or something right there, trying to fabricate something that probably doesn't exist. I remember I mean, I remember Errol was a senior linebacker on the team. I mean, Marquise was a senior D-line. Those are the guys I remember. And there's a few guys out there. I mean, Forbes was out there playing. Buki was out there playing. Crumity and Pick were probably out there a little bit. But now I remember Will Rogers getting his first start and operating the offense at an incredibly high level, and probably was a foreshadowing of things to come of how good of a quarterback we have operating our offense. And it's really nice as a defense coordinator to know you got a quarterback like that you're married up with, because I think they controlled the ball a lot in that game and probably kept us off the field, and that probably had more to do with our defensive, whatever success we had. Pretty good defense when you're standing on the sideline,